welcome Jay Medinski in. Hi, Jay.
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing great, man. And I want to thank Regal Tip for sponsoring the show, and it's been a great partnership, Regal Tip and the Herd on the X Show.
Definitely, we're really proud to be a part of a show like this. There's not enough shows like this, believe me.
How did you guys do at NAMM? How was NAMM for you? We seen you at NAMM, and
you know what? It was crazy. It was the year before. It was a little slower than usual. I think the economy affected a lot of people and their mindset about spending. They came to this just balls to the wall, a nice, optimistic attitude from people all around the world, not even just right here in our country. So it was, it was kind of crazy in a fun way.
Let me ask you a technical question, and I want to see if you noticed it. Did you notice a lot of visitors at this show, though?
Yes.
I mean, a lot of extra folks running around.
Yeah, I know they were, especially on Sunday there, they were doing a lot of those visitor passes to kind of inflate the numbers a little bit.
That's got to be aggravating for you, though, because you're standing there and you start talking to somebody, then you realize this is not even an industry person.
It's rough. You know what it is? There's a lot of, just especially coming to us, just drummers coming up, and you don't want to discourage anything they've got going on. It's like Disney for drummers and guitar players and everything. So, you know, want them to leave with a real cool vibe of what's going on. So you don't want to like, hey man, put that down. You want them to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, it's like the paradox of owning a music store.
It's nuts.
You don't want to discourage anybody, but you don't want guys, morons hanging around just beating on your stuff either.
Right on.
And the other thing too is for you guys that are the vendors at the show and you're displaying stuff, you got to be careful who you're talking to, because you can't talk about stuff that's business related to somebody who's not actually buying as a business.
That's right. You get a vibe for who's doing what there after a while.
Right.
And you talk to a lot of the same people coming through, the same distributors from around the world, and a lot of the key accounts from the country. So you kind of got those guys dialed in. But just put on that plastic smile and hope for the best sometimes. Do what you got to do.
What does Regal Tip have new? They have anything new coming out at the show? Did you guys show anything?
We did. I mean, last year it was big for us product wise with this.
The fluted tip?
Yeah, we did it's called the E-Tip technology, which just went nuts. We put all our eggs in the extreme metal basket, and I'll tell you, these kids are coming out of the woodwork trying out this. It's a whole series called New Tools for Metal. We expanded on that with actually a mallet created for the first time for rock guys. Mallets were always, the big white things for orchestral guys, so we made them black, kind of put a little cool vibe to them, and these kids were really kind of excited about them. We made a brush for a cajon, which is really cool too.
That's cool. That is really cool.
Everybody's jumping on cajones right now, even like the novice players coming in. Just you can kind of make them sound like something without knowing how to be a pro. And this cajon brush just. It's kind of a neat tool to make them sound probably a lot better than they are, and if you're having fun, you're doing it right. So
the tip technology that you're talking about, that fluted style tip, is called?
It's E-Tip technology. And what it is wood tip is pretty standard for a lot of people. When the nylon tip came out, which we invented 50-some years ago. Joe Collado did that a long time ago. And that hard nylon, it's really durable. That was the whole idea of it, to make something that lasts a little longer than wood. But it can tend to bring the pitch of your cymbals up a little bit. Some guys love it, some guys don't. So we wanted to kind of merge that into like the perfect stick. So you've got that same sound and feel of wood, but you've got the durability of nylon. So best of both worlds. And people are really starting to get excited out of it. Just when you think, what are you going to do with a stick? Man, he comes up with something new, and that's Joe Collado in his mid-'80s now came up with that too.
Yeah, and let's talk about the Collado family, because the people that don't know that are listening to us locally here in Western New York, this is a local company.
Local company. It's going on, 52, 53 years now in the same location. And I think we're one of the only family-owned stick companies here in the United States anymore. So it's kind of exciting. We just kind of keep on that course doing our thing.
Well, and for all the drummers that are out there, if you are local, buy Regal Tips, because it's a local company.
Definitely. Everything we bring in is all made in America. I mean, there's no importing that we do on any of our products. It's all right here in the USA, and we're really proud to say
that. And manufacturing's done here. Everything's done here.
Everything is done here, top to bottom, too. Even a lot of people that have been there, in this day and age, we've had people that have been there for decades. I'm probably the newest guy there, going on 4 years. People have been there 20, some of them 30 years, doing the same thing, pounding day in and day out, making these sticks. So a lot of longevity in there, top to bottom.
Prior to Regal Tip, you were with Sabian for a while, too, right?
Sabian for a while, and then Sonar Drums for a while, too, doing, A&R and product support for both, living on the road on that side of it.
Yeah.
So
and you're still playing. I mean, you're a drummer. You're a great drummer, and we've known each other since we were kids.
Oh, yeah.
And you're a great drummer. You still get a chance to get out and play, though, right?
You know what? It's getting to be less and less. I hate to say it. Keith touched on it, too. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. You're out there, and it's like, man, I kind of want to go home. And then when you're home, it's like, man, I got to get the hell out of here. You know? But the good thing about what I'm doing now is I still feel like I'm in the mix of it, dealing with some of the great players that I get to talk to day to day. I don't miss some of that, but I still get out there here and there doing like the hired gun gig, couple fly out dates here and there where I can, and still, feeling like a drummer.
Right, exactly. So. There is like a hypnosis that happens to you though when you work on the road a lot, where you and Keith, you talked about it, and I've watched the change in you where you're almost anxious when you come home. I mean, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a real thing where you just, like you said, I want to get out of here.
You don't know how to act, though, for a little bit, too. You're in a little bit of a detox. I mean, living...
Well, that's why I go to detox at Rich's.
That's right. There you go. It's weird, though. You come home and, your family's there. This is there. It's really... It's a weird vibe. You've been looking at the same 5 or 6 faces for months on end, and you got to kind of remember who your friends are, who you're, like, hey, those are my kids. They look like they must
funny.
Be mine.
It sounds funny, though, but even when you're on the road and you're hungry, you look for a Denny's or something.
Yeah.
At home, there's a fridge, and it's like, you're even breaking habits like that where I'm hungry.
Here's something funny. I don't even own a fridge.
Right on.
I got so used to eating Taco Bell on the road with Sean that just hit the Taco Bell around the corner.
But it's such a real thing. I mean, doing laundry, stuff like that. I mean, it sounds, for the listeners out there, this might sound so foreign, but it really is a phenomenon that happens to you, and I'm sure salesmen go through it all the time too. I mean, over-the-road salesmen have to. There was a movie. Up in the Air or something like that with George Clooney, where he was this salesman who traveled like 320 days a year, and basically his life was that. And every time I watch that, I think that's a traveling musician's life. You come home, your house has been empty for 2 months. There's absolutely nothing. You can't keep milk in your fridge or anything like that. It's just an empty box, So
that's why I keep milk in your truck.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But I mean, it's such a real thing. This traveling phenomenon in the music industry. And the music industry is very insulated, too, because your hours are different. You start work when you're on the road at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and you're done at 2, 3 in the morning. So, you get to see the vampire part of existence. It's just, it's a very delicate and weird thing.
I've been home 2 weeks, and I still can't fall asleep before 4.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I just still toss and turn, and it's crazy. And then I got to have a fan next to my head that sounds like a diesel motor. It's crazy, man.
Definitely a lifestyle. It really is.
It really is. But at least you still get out to play. Yeah. And you get to hang around a lot of musicians. We've seen you, obviously, Dan Adair you were with. Oh, yeah. We had Dan on the show.
Oh, right.
It seems like every show I run into you.
That's right.
Did you see any cool shows at NAMM?
Oh, man, you know what? I get so busy with everything going on. I kind of skipped a little bit of the nightlife this year that I usually hit. The Sabian Live, we were kind of a sponsor with that, too. So Chad Smith, one of his side bands, was there, too, and JoJo Meyer and some really great drummers. So it was that was a very good hang.
Yeah, there's so many cool things afterwards. And like you say, you can't see it all. And you regret. I didn't see Cheap Trick this year. And
that one I missed, too.
I know. Really and we were debating, and we had so much other stuff to do, and it's like, I should have gone and seen it. But
I know. Just a couple short years ago, I used to go to the show, and, you'd set up your booth, do the day, all night, back at the booth. I mean, night after night, until you pretty much crash that last day, and the flight home is a long nap. But now I'm like, man, I better go back to the room. I got to sleep for a little bit. I got to try and act like a pro here.
I got to do paperwork. I've got
to,
I'm actually going to organize my thoughts.
It's tough being a grown-up at these shows. It really is.
It really is. It's just that we're getting old. All right, we're going to take a short commercial break. On the other side of the break, we got more with Jay. He's going to talk about some of the artists that Regal Tip is working with. More with Keith. Stick around, folks. Heard it on the X. Hi, this is Rich from the Music Exchange in Hamburg.